Okay, so we're going to break down a match between Zachary and a very tough opponent that he had. This was a really good match. It was fast paced and a lot of punches was thrown. So we're going to discuss how Zachary handled this opponent who was extremely tough. We're going to discuss concepts, boxing concepts, Zach's strategies, and all that good stuff. So let's begin. All right. Zach comes out, punching. Immediately, Zach comes out, establishing his jab. His opponent immediately answers. Now, this was the issue that I had with Zach, okay? He stayed on the line. So when you're on the line right here, you can hit your opponent, all right? But if you are on the line, your opponent can hit you, all right? Now, Zach tried to block, but you can't block. I mean, you could try to block, but if your opponent throws a rapid-fire combination, you know, Zach guessed wrong, and he got caught. Again, lots of punches are thrown. His opponent is an athlete. His opponent was able to pop onto the line. Watch. So Zach is an outfighter, so he usually, you know, moves around the ring a lot, you know, uses his feet. But we've been working on holding his ground, so I think that's what's happening here. Zach is trying to hold his ground, catch and counter. You know, you got to kind of read the fight first. So let's see what happens. You see how his opponent was able to step onto the line. Zach is trying to hold his ground to counterpunch. And Zach is able to land a left hook to the body. All right. Zach tried to jump on his line, but when you try to go forward to jump on the line, your opponent could just hop back, you know, using footwork for defense. If you want to hit your opponent, you need to come forward. But if you want to defend, you just use your footwork for defense to step back. Because in order to hit your opponent, you need to be here. So if he comes here, and if Zach want to defend, he just needs to move here. So that's footwork for defense. Again, Zach jumped on to the line. His opponent let him run into what I call the touch and go. So his opponent threw a jab out and hopped back. Again, his opponent wants to get here so he can land his punches here. Zach used footwork for defense, all right? His opponent wants to get here, and if Zach does not move, if Zach stay right here, his opponent can hit him. Of course, Zach can hit him back, but Zach decided to defend and step back. There's three things you could do in a boxing match. There's attacking, there's defending, and there's counterpunching. All right, so his opponent is counterpunching. Zach advances onto the line. His opponent does not retreat. Zach threw punches. His opponent came back. This is called an exchange. I generally don't like exchanges because you don't know what the judge is looking at. You might win the exchange. You might not. Zach won this fight because of his hooks. He had a more educated lead hand. So watch. Zach was throwing a bunch of jabs. So watch. He's going to fake the jab and throw the hook. He just kind of lingered a little bit, allowed his opponent to come back and respond. Bam. He should have got off the line. Jab, establishing the jab. His opponent's trying to get on his line. Now Zach is popped off the line. See what happens. So watch. His opponent advanced. Zach used his footwork to get off the line. And Zach counterpunch. He was able to get back on his opponent's line. Now, instead of getting off the line, Zach decided to block. So he threw his punches. He didn't get off the line. He held his ground to try to catch and counter. Working the jab. All right, Zach using his feet. Zach jumped on his opponent's line. He's just throwing more punches. His opponent came back with. This is an exchange. See, this round is. I don't like this round because it's too many exchanges, and when it's too many exchanges, you don't know what the judges are going to see. So you got to control the fight. Good jab. All right, good 1, 2, and they come back with the 3. How do you control exchanges? You control exchanges by working your jab. What's the difference between a brawl and a boxing match? The jab brings skills to a fight. Your jab, it controls range, it controls timing. So you got to use the jab, and Zach is not really using his jab in this case. Zach probes in, swipe the right hand, which is terrible. His opponent is able to counter it. Zach defends with his high guard. He's blocking. There's three ways to defend. There's head movement, which is the most advanced way. So the basic way is footwork, as we discussed. In order to hit Zach, he needs to get here. In order for Zach to hit him, Zach needs to get here. But to defend that, if Zach wants to hit him, he needs to step forward here. He can easily go back. So that's footwork. You can either block, right? You can block, or you could use head movement. So there's 3 things you could do. You could attack, you could defend, or you could counterpunch. Zach attacked. His opponent slipped and countered. Very good on his opponents. Zach didn't faint. Zach didn't faint one time in this match.
Stop resetting, Zach. Stop resetting. Don't reset.
Establishing his jab. 1, 2, 3. His opponent responded. Good lead right hand. Zach is trying to hold his ground with the high guard. Again, we worked on holding his ground instead of moving around as much, and right now it's just not working for him. It's a very even round. Both fighters are having success. Both fighters are landing punches. But if you want to win a fight, it can't be even rounds. You got to control the fight. You can't keep it up to the judge. That was a really good 1, 2, 3. So, okay, in order for Zach to hit him, Zach needs to get here. Let's see how he gets on the line. Let's watch. All right. Zach did a small pendulum step and threw a 1, 2, 3. Small pendulum step. Zach threw a 1, 2 and was able to land the hook. Again, Zach held his ground. This time he caught and countered pretty good. Zach pendulum step onto the line. All right. Zach has to get here. He has to get here to land his punch here. So Zach pendulum step. He missed. He just stepped in and threw a right hand. He tried to slip, and it was an exchange. All right. That's the end of round 1. That's a tough round to score. Round 2. Zach feints and jabs. Feints. He's using his feinting more. All right. Let's look at that again. When you feint, you throw off your opponent's timing. Feint, jab, feint, jab. His opponent came in, Zach countered. Zach using his jab much more. Okay, Zach feinted, but this time his opponent attacked off the feint. Feint. His opponent probably was going to throw a cross counter over Zach's jab, but it was a feint, so his opponent came in. Was able to land a lead right, but Zach was able to respond with a decent exchange. Good jab, good feint. Zach tried to throw a leaping left hook right hand. Zach caught his opponents and was able to respond, was able to counterpunch. Zach's hand speed is just a little bit better. Zach is throwing is jabbing more. So this is a much better round for Zach. Good leaping left hook set up by those jabs. Again, the difference between a brawler and a boxer is the use of a jab. All right, so Zach landed a really good combination, which definitely put him ahead in this round. He landed this combination. Why did he land this combination? Because he was throwing jabs. All right. They're squared up, okay? Zach needs to get here. All right. Zach has been throwing jabs, so his opponent is looking for this jab. So Zach is going to pendulum step here because that's where he needs to get. But instead of throwing a jab, Zach is going to come around with the hook here. So watch. And that set up the combination which scored. His opponent steps on the line and probes in. He probes in. Let's see what happens. Zach holds his ground. He's blocking. And Zach is trying to come back with the catch and counter. And they get tied up.
Zach, don't catch him.
His opponent's not feigning enough. His opponent's not disrupting Zach's timing. Zach is able to block and counter. All right, so happened again. Zach needs to get here to land his punch, right? So Zach is going to pendulum step, right? He's going to pendulum step here, and then he's gonna land his lead hook with a combination. So let's watch. All right, and the guy caught him because Zach just did it. All right, so the guy was able to catch him, but Zach was able to land more of a combo. I believe the judges seen what Zach did. Okay, let's watch that. All right, again, Zach needs to get here to land his punches here. Zach pendulum steps onto the line. And through a combination. All right, so Zach with the probe. He did a 1-2 probe. He probed with his left hand, then right hand, and then landed his hook. So he followed his probe to get on the line. There's 3 ways to get on the line. You could punch onto the line, which is like that leaping left hook. You could probe onto the line, or you could block onto the line. All right. Most people punch onto the line. Like he punches onto the line a lot. A person who wants to counter punch, they counter punches. So if you probe onto the line, oftentimes you would throw them off. So let's watch. You see, that's a probe, left hook. And Zach was able to avoid punches by coming off the line. Again, Zach catching and counter. A little bit of roughhousing here. Zach needs to be able to swing him to the side. All right, who's going to get on the line? All right, so. All right. A little bit of roughhousing. I don't mind roughhousing. It's a fight. So.
Pendulum step to the right hand, to the right.
Who's going to work the line? Good feint.
Off the jab.
His opponent switched stance. His opponent turned to southpaw. Maybe he felt like he needed a change.
Fake escape.
Let's see. His opponent, he did a hard step. All right, tried to throw an up jab. Zach countered with the hook. Got off the line. All right. Zach threw a multitude of punches, but maybe the last punch might have landed. Okay, so his opponent is not feigning. His opponent needs to get here to land punches here, okay? Boxing is the manipulation of distance and timing. So he's going to step hard here, but he also needs to manipulate Zach's timing. Zach is waiting for him. He's timing him. All right, let's watch. Hard punch. Zach did a pull and landed with his right hand, left hand.
Go ahead.
Jab hook. You see? All right. His opponent needs to get here to land his punch here. All right. So he's going to do a hard step. His opponent is manipulating distance by stepping hard onto the line, but his opponent is not feigning, so he's not throwing off Zach's timing. So Zach is able to counter him. Again, there's 3 ways to get on the line: probing, punching, or blocking. Counter punches want to counter your punching. So he's going to punch onto the line. Let's watch. Punch onto the line. Zach is able to counter and then safely get off the line.
Check.
All right. So Zach punch throwing to the line himself. He threw a leap, we call this the ace deuce, leaping left hook to the right hand. The leaping left hook does not have to land. The goal is to land the right hand. All right. I think it touched him. All right. Zach hooks is landing. Like I say, this good feet by Zach. Zach has good feet. Zach can maneuver around the ring. He's even getting better than what you see in here. All right, that's a good round for Zach. I believe that's a clear win for Zach. Zach kind of figured his opponent out after kind of a rough first round. Again, establishing the jab. All right, Zach with the counter hook. Zach is catching and counter now. He has his opponent's timing. Yeah, Zach has his opponent's timing. Every time his opponent steps onto the line, Zach throws a combination of combos. Good probe in by Zach. Zach probed onto the line. Let's watch again. Hold on. Zach is going to probe in behind a double jab. So watch. And then he threw a combination. I don't think they landed clean, but good try. Good try. Great double leg takedown. For those of you who don't know, Zach is also a Division III wrestler. So during wrestling season while he's in school, absolutely no boxing. It's kind of tough. Let's watch that double leg again. So again, his opponent steps onto the line because he has to get here in order to land his punch here. His opponent is not throwing Zach's timing off, so Zach is able to use head movement for defense this time. This time, Zach used head movement for defense. Zach slipped the punch. His opponent decided to roughhouse, but Zach, again, is a Division III wrestler. So if you're going to roughhouse him, he's going to roughhouse you. It's funny. Somebody in the crowd yelled, "2!" That was hilarious. All right. All right. They square up, okay? Who is going to get on the line? Who's going to get on the line? Zach. Okay, that's obviously a flicking jab. You know, throughout the fight, his opponent rushes in behind a feint or behind a jab. So Zach has a sense of this now, so watch. Zach throws another flick. His opponent rush, check hook. Zach is great at check hook. Zach has been check hooking ever since he was 12 years old. And he generally hit a check hook at least once a match. At least once a match. You see, Zach just has his timing now. He just has his time. He's able to land punch.
Don't push his head down. Don't push his head down.
His opponent can't get on the line without getting hit now. Zach is catching him coming in. He's been catching him coming in since the second round.
Shuffle steps.
The jab. Again, Zach has been catching him coming in since the second round.
Other hand, too. Other hand. Other hand. Work other hand. Other hand. There you go.
Still, this opponent is tough, and this opponent is trying. Catching counter. Catching counter. Zach has to get much better at this. Zach pendulum step on the line for the body shot. You see how Zach is just catching him coming in every rip. Zach is trying to pull counter. Didn't quite get it. Zach has to roll his head much better. He can't allow himself to get controlled. Yep, again, Zach just has his timing. Good feint and fire. Decent right hand off the feint. Zach could get on this line now without getting countered as much. You see how his opponent is trying to counter. He's not able really to counter Zach.
Off the shuffle. Off the shuffle.
All right, Zach is able to counter his opponent. Zach with the tactical flow, head movement. Zach is able to get on the line, land his shot. His opponent. All right, so let's watch that. I call this a preemptive check hook. So this is similar to a leaping left hook. Zach could jump in, and he's changing his angle at the same time. Zach's coming here, but then at the same time, he's going here. He lands there. So he comes in and lands there. All right. So he kind of moves away from the counterattack. Again, Watch how Zach moves away from the counterattack. He jumps here, but he twists there, you know, and the left hook lands on the other side. So watch. See how Zach changes his angle and moves away from the counterattack. Zach with the 1-2. Zach is just totally landing now. All right. Good fight. So what happened was Zach in the first round, you know, Zach didn't have his opponent's timing, but he was able to figure him out by the second round. All right. Thank you guys for watching this breakdown. Please join us. Please leave your comments in the comment section. Until next time, we're out.